How's it going, everybody? Scott, Racexotics. I just wanted to chat a little bit about etiquette on these group drives. Everybody wants to be included, and we want to include people in these drives. We've had a few incidences lately, and if they continue to happen, we're just going to stop inviting people. They've only happened outside of kind of the core group of guys. One of them, I was in the fast lane, and there's two carpool lanes. There was a bus in the far left carpool lane, and then there was another car he was getting ready to overtake the bus and myself in the fast lane. And he was going maybe 10 miles an hour faster than me. And he didn't know that the lane that the bus was in ended. And so as the bus merged into the lane he was in, he was exceeding the speed. He had nowhere to go. He couldn't stop in time. It happened pretty quick. And if I hadn't have moved out of the way, he would have run into the side of me or the bus. Another incident that happened was we were going down a single lane road, a big group of us in the supercars, and this sedan, I'm not going to say any names, I'm not trying to start any problems or hurt anybody's feelings, but these are things that have happened that they need to be addressed before somebody gets hurt or killed. This car went to overtake the line of cars on a one-way each direction road, and he was passing us at probably 15 miles an hour over our speed, and two oncoming cars were in that lane. Well, the first one was able to swerve out of the way onto the shoulder, which is extremely unsafe and uncalled for. The second one wasn't. And so he had to swerve back into the line of us, almost took two of us out, all to show off. The whole time on the drive he was doing burnouts, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure his car was super fast, but it's not all about that. Everybody wants to enjoy their cars. I totally understand. I'm one of the first to be out there enjoying my vehicle as well, but we try and do it safe. We don't want anybody hurt. We don't want anybody's car damaged. And I mean, what if one of those cars would have been in a head-on collision and killed somebody? It's just unacceptable. So our core group that we've always had has been very mindful of that. We're watching each other, we're watching what we're doing, we're trying to anticipate other traffic. And we've been on a few drives where these sedans specifically, I'm not gonna talk bad about anybody's car. Everybody's got different purposes. You might want 4 doors because you have kids that you like to take to school, whatever, right? That's cool. But what we've noticed is a lot of these guys with the sedans driving on supercar drives are trying to impress maybe, or prove their cars are fast, which that's not what this is about. We're just trying to enjoy the cars. And every single time that we have opened up kind of our drives to other people, it's gotten unsafe. And so we just want you to be mindful of that. This isn't a race, this isn't a competition. We're just trying to go on a drive with a bunch of buddies and enjoy the time. And if we keep having these situations happen where people are being reckless, then we're just going to stop inviting them, and we'll just kind of go back to the way we were before. So if you guys are enjoying these drives, just be mindful of that. Another thing I wanted to address was knowing the limitations of your car. One of the last drives I went on, and I'm not talking bad about anybody's car, I'm trying to tiptoe around this delicately, but it was an old muscle car, and he was driving just like we were in modern cars. And me being a muscle car lover, and have had probably more muscle cars than anybody I know, a couple hundred. I've had 13 '69 Mustangs. I love old muscle cars, so don't take this offensively, all you muscle car guys. But I also, because I've had so many, I understand the restrictions of them. Even the old school disc brake cars, the brakes would get hot, you'd lose braking power. That's not even talking about the old drum brake cars, which were garbage. They're heavy, they're not aerodynamic. There's a lot of things going against those old cars. If you're driving one of those cars on one of our drives, that's cool, awesome, we love them, and we don't have a problem with you in joining, but just stay mindful that your car's not built to do what an AMG GTR is made to do, right? Or a Lamborghini Huracan or an Aventador. So just maybe stay to the back of the group and don't be riding people's ass, because if they stop, these modern cars with ceramic brakes, they stop right now. Your old car, especially after you've been driving it hard for 10 minutes, does not stop right now. And it's hard when you get caught up in the moment of the drive, and it's crazy and it's exciting, and you don't even think about that stuff. But man, if a kid walked out in the street and the guy in front of you and a supercar stops, he's stopping, and you're driving through the back of his car. So, and that doesn't just go for the muscle car guys. I mean, look at DDE's 720. It got rear-ended by a modern day Challenger, right? Those other cars are not designed to do the same thing. That goes for even some of the sedans that have been joining us on the drives. Sure, they're fast, you can put a ton of power through them, I'm not going to argue that at all, but you're top heavy, your center of gravity is not low to the ground, and you may have good brakes, but you're also 1,000 pounds to 15 pounds heavier than, let's say, McLaren 720S. So keep that in mind when you're out here on these drives, because that goes for kind of the safety thing too, right? If you're going to be trying to push these cars past their limits, we're just going to stop inviting you. So if you enjoy these drives and enjoy hanging out with us, maybe at the stop meetup points, maybe just hang to the back of the group a little bit to where you're not risking anybody's life. Even you might not even know that you are. The guy that almost took me out with the carpool lane incident, he didn't know anything about it because he just assumed everything was good because I got out of his way. But had I not been paying attention and seen that his lane was disappearing, then it would have been an accident. And I don't want to have to drive to where I'm watching out for other people as well as myself, right? So just stay mindful of the situation and the scenario. I mean, if you're invited and you're in a 4-door Cadillac, CTV or something, and you're hanging out with a bunch of guys, the drive is maybe Porsches and Ferraris, no offense, but you probably shouldn't be trying to do what they're doing, right? Your car just wasn't, whether or not you got 1,000 horsepower and it lays rubber all the way down the block, it doesn't matter. Your car wasn't designed to do the same thing. And I'm trying to like be as delicate as possible because I love all cars, right? Every car has got something cool about it, just like every car's got something bad about it. My Testarossa is the heater barely works. It works great when it's hot out. Those big radiators, so much air goes through them, it just doesn't warm up on a cold day. So your feet are freezing the whole time you're driving it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand every car's got its flaws. You just have to be mindful of the scenario, the situation. And if you're not, we'll just stop inviting you. And that's kind of what the guys have been talking about, is going back to the way it used to be. So I don't think there's too many more chances that people have that are being invited on the drives to act right. But we're not going to endanger our lives or be an accomplice or an accessory to you guys acting poorly and killing somebody. It's just not, it's unacceptable. So if you guys are not going to drive accordingly, you're just not going to be invited on our drives anymore. Well, I think that's it. I'm going to get back to the beach. Mahalo.